these predictions in brief was an idea, a project, and it's not really exactly what I wanted. It may have been a leap too far. What I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to run its course to the end of the alphabet, and then cut it, I think. I will possibly continue with some of the predictions for some of the lower leagues if they score well, if they do well during this project. But I thought I'd let you know that this is not going to be something that's going to go on for, you know, forever. The whole entire series will only run 26, and then that will be it. Right, we begin then with a Strikeforce Challengers event. This is going on Friday, July the 23rd at the Comcast Arena in Everett in Washington State. I don't actually know, I don't think hardly any of the people on this card at all, but I shall run through it anyway. We've got Shane Del Rosario, no relation to our esteemed webmaster, so I hear, versus Lolo Here Mayhe. I have heard of him, so I will support him, but I don't know an awful lot about him at all. I just know of the name. Sarah Kaufman versus Roxanne Modafferi. This is for the Women's Welterweight Championship. Corey Davila versus Bobby Volker. Mike Kyle versus Abongo Humphrey. What a name. But despite that, I'm actually going to go for Mike Kyle. Carlos Fodor versus Thomas Diagni or something like that. That was the main card. The undercard, Brent Knopp, who I have heard of, so I will support, but I don't know. You see, most of these people I've heard of some of the names, but I wouldn't claim that I've known any of the people. Versus Ryan Hayes, Torian Washington versus CJ Marsh, Chris Inman versus Joe Hernandez, again another one I've heard of, so I'll support. Scott McDonald versus Doug Kay, Drew Brokenshire versus Mike Miniger, Jamen Olney versus Levi Alford, and Frankie Orr versus John Elam. It does look like it's going to be quite a good event, but there we are. Grappler's Quest are doing a thing at the Europa Battle of Champions. This is happening Saturday, July the 24th at the Connecticut Convention Centre. Desert Quest Championship is also hosting a tournament, and that's at the Broadway Recreation Centre in Mesa, Arizona. Registration is between 9 and 12, so if you want to do that, there you are. There's another one here. This is called Young Blood. This is Kids and Teens Kickboxing Championship. This is really hosted by Rage in the Cage, I think. Real Fighting Championships have their event called New Blood. This is number 21, July the 23rd, and it's at A La Carte Pavilion in Tampa, Florida. We've got Patrick Snowball versus Gert Kokani, Julian Bryan versus Dustin Robbins, Mike Rideout versus Alex Cruz, Robert Rodney versus Andrew Connors, John Gabier versus Evan Baxter, Joe Formigas versus, well, they haven't quite got an opponent for him yet. Jay Bahari versus Daniel Wade. Another fight that they haven't actually organised yet. Jason Jack versus Angel Molina. And Mike Burns versus Joe Rickard. Don't think I know any of them at all. None of their... oh, what was that? I saw that. Oh, no, that's wrong state. Don't know him. Don't think I know any of them, but I thought I'd announce that anyway. And NAFs, which I'm not sure what that stands for at all. North American Allied Fight something or other. They are hosting an event called War on the Shore number 4. That's happening Saturday, July the 24th, and that's in Ohio, according to this. And the fight card is as follows. Al Pakowski versus George Comer. Corey Ruthsatz versus RJ Buck. Rachel Davidio versus Nola Hessam. Shannon Floyd versus Deanna Bison. Rob Reck versus Joe Sanfilippo. Brett Gruber versus Mario Mikhail. Ricky Sandlin versus Josh Oppenheimer. Rick Foster versus Matt Hopkins. Ryan Victory versus Zach Sutek. Justin White versus Dan Farnworth. Wyndham Craig versus Joey Cowgay. John Burble versus Chad Cattry. Neil Delos Reyes versus Bob Hopkins. Dustin Wolfe versus Justin Rhodes. AJ Materna versus Butch Davis. Chuck Jones versus Nick Albrecht. Seth Horner versus Zach Gilliard. Victor Garillo versus George Murphy. And Dave Prologo versus Mark D. Phillips. Can't say I know a single person on that, but it looks like it's going to be a really good event, in fact. And that's about it from this week.